On one of the job sites this morning. This is a whole house remodel and some small additions and a pool remodel, and wanted to get everyone up to speed as to what we're doing and what we've found in this house. Obviously we've got some issues just with the driveway alone trying to get a dumpster up here. We are sort of in limbo. We've got a lot of the demolition done and the house has been all packed out, but we're waiting on the HOA and the final city approval. So we've got all the flooring ripped out. We've got some safety railings installed. Lots of plastic covering the things that are not going to be changed. It's one of the things we pride ourselves on when we do our demolition is a lot of plastic. Back here is where we're going to be changing out, putting a multi-panel pocket door system in. And right there is where the addition is going to be going. But we've got all the demolition completed. We are trying to remove this soffit up here and create a wood slat ceiling that Katherine Mueller Design has come up with. One of the things that you'll notice up there is that the bottom cord of the truss is where all the insulation is. And that's how we used to build houses 20 and 30 years ago. One of the things that we are going to do with this house is remove all the drywall ceilings. And we are going to spray foam the roof deck, which is going to make this house much more efficient. So people oftentimes ask the question, can you build an Energy Star, or I should say, can you remodel a house with Energy Star thoughts and ideas? And the answer to that is yes. There is a limitation depending on how much drywall you remove and things like that, and what your existing mechanical systems are, but we definitely can do that. And this is definitely something we are doing on this project, and we'll show you that as we progress. Some of the other things that we're going to look at here is the amount of rot around those existing windows. We are replacing all the windows in the entire house. This glass block has been removed. I'm actually surprised that they used a Tyvek building wrap as old as this house is. That kind of surprises me a little bit. But they did not flash their glass block or do anything like that. It was just all based on grout and some caulk on the exterior, which in my opinion are secondary measures. And we don't use glass block anymore. They make glass block windows if that's something that's interesting to the client, but most of the time we're just putting a film on the window if that's something they're looking for in terms of privacy. Same thing here. This was a glass block window as well. You can see the rot and you can see the mold on the sill. Our area, and we're going to end up ripping this all out and doing a completely different window and door system. Heading into the master, or the primary suite as we call it now. Again, all of that finished, the wallpaper and the stone veneer on the wall is all remaining, so we've got that protected nicely. And we'll have to change that out multiple times during this project. So we're back in the master bath. You can kind of see that radius on the floor. That's where the shower was. I'm surprised we're not seeing more leaks from that old glass block and that old shower. That's where our vanities were. And behind that black plastic there is where the tub was. Try to get in here and take a look. Wow, see this is exactly what we were afraid of. The amount of rot from that window. And now we're gonna have to change all that out, cut all that stucco back. And with all this rot that we're finding, it begs the question, what is more cost effective for the long-term greater good of this house? Do we remove all the stucco on this house and properly waterproof this entire building? And that's something we'll have to discuss with the client. A lot of different options with the pool and how to add the spa, a Baja shelf, changing out equipment and things like that. So that's in the works as well. We're offering multiple options to the customer. Again, eventually you're gonna see the awnings and things like that being built. This whole area here will be a new addition, which is why we've got all that stucco stripped off. And then that's that pocket door area that I was explaining to you. And oh my gosh, look at that rot. It's the first time I've been out here since they've done the demo. Looks like we've got termites and water damage both. And it goes all the way up to the top of the parapet. I mean, certainly for sure, we are going to be ripping all the stucco off all the way back on the back side of that parapet as well. It's the only way we can really do it properly and actually warranty it as well. But we'll show you the updated framing once we get all that done. And it's interesting, they're using some sort of black, like a Celotex product that I haven't seen in probably 30 years from back in the Midwest. But anyways, even that glue lamb header up there has got rot on it. So we've got a lot of work to do. We've got some things we're gonna have to discuss with the homeowner. But anyways, these are things we run into during a remodel, and this is why it's extremely important to have a contingency plan, have some money set aside for things like this that you're not expecting. Again, we're changing out all the windows and the doors in the house no matter what, but this is how waterproofing used to be done 20 and 30 years ago. And you can see what happens to that black paper. It does eventually dry out. When they put all those staples in there, you're just creating all kinds of penetrations, and you can see that all that does is create an area where air and water vapor can get through. So if you're following us on this Desert Contemporary remodel, this is exactly one of the reasons why you've got to have a contingency plan set aside. Either have extra money set aside for things like this, or you've got to probably make some changes to your original budget and some of the things that you may want to do. Typically, most of the times, the budget actually grows because people don't want to sacrifice the finishes on the interior and things like that. But just things to consider as you go through a remodel process in the very beginning. You're going to run into things that you didn't expect, and we're going to walk you through those things as we find them, and we're going to do a really good job communicating. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you as the customer to make that decision. The other thing that we uncovered here is that this house is all OSB subfloor on the areas where it's not slab on grade. And this is definitely a cheaper way to go. When they originally built this house, we would never even think about using a product like this. And this is gonna affect our flooring and how we warranty it. And we're gonna have to have discussions with the customer. Obviously, this whole area is slab on grade, but the area behind me and up here is an elevated framing assembly that sits above the garage. And we've got to have conversations about warranting this, what the expectations are as far as squeaks down the road, and how we're going to handle that.